Hi, I'm writer, director, producer James Wan.
And I'm director Michael Chaves.
Together, we've helped create and visualize the Conjuring franchise.
Today, we're going to talk about every demon and every spirit in the Conjuring universe. And this probably goes without saying, but spoilers ahead.
So let's get into it. The first Conjuring from 2013, directed by myself, James Wan. Annabelle, a doll being used as a conduit by an evil presence, but we're going to come back to her later. Bathsheba Sherman, a Satan-worshipping witch who terrorizes the Perron family. There were multiple spirits that would, besiege the Perron family, but Bathsheba was the one main one who would keep coming back after the family, trying to possess Carolyn Perron and trying to get to the family. So she was basically our main boogeyman in the first film. With her, we wanted to create something that was scary, but obviously that still felt grounded to the world that it took place in. And so it was about finding that balance, trying to make it as scary as we can, but still feel realistic enough to be in a movie that is based on a true story.
In the name of the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit.
We knew that the movie was going to end with a scary exorcism sequence where the mother of the house gets exorcised, and we see for a fleeting moment Bathsheba peeking through out of her.
I command you to reveal yourself!
And so it's about finding a look that could be a good juxtaposition to what the mother looks like and trying to find the balance between that.
Bathsheba was played by the composer of the first three Conjuring movies, Joe Bishara. He's such a fan of horror. I thought it was just a genius stroke. And it also, James, when he makes movies, and even as a producer, it's like you're making a movie with your friends. And I feel like that's what I always loved about how when you cast Joe is you're getting your friend in the role. Even though it's this old-timey witch, and you're like, Joe, you're in it. You're in the movie, you're the witch.
Joe Bishara, not only is he the composer of the movie, he has played the boogeyman in a lot of my films. He enjoys the makeup process, 3 to 5 hours, just getting latexed up and really sinking himself into the role.
Look what she made me do.
One of the other entities in The Conjuring is the maid, a spirit from the 1920s who was driven to suicide by Bathsheba.
Ed?
Look what she made me do!
And another one is Rory, a spirit who died in the Perron house after being killed by his own mother, who was possessed by Bathsheba. Another entity that haunted the Perron family in The Conjuring is Rory's mother herself, a spirit who died in the Perron house after she killed her son Rory and then she took her own life.
She made me do it.
One of my favorite scare scenes was when one of the sisters wake up to a banging sound and then they see one of the other sisters standing in front of the closet, banging her head against the closet.
I remembered you saying not to wake her if she's like this, so...
Hey, sweetie.
I just find the creepy moments like that much more interesting for me as a filmmaker. I find it more challenging to do because boo scares or jump scares, if you do them right, they can be very effective. But to create creepy sequences and to do them right is a lot harder. And so I, myself personally, prefer the small creepy moments. Annabelle from 2014.
And this is directed by the DP of the first Conjuring, John Leonetti, a longtime collaborator, James, very talented DP.
Amazing, amazing DP, amazing guy.
Annabelle.
After we made the first movie, it became very apparent that Annabelle was one of the most favorite characters. It felt like Annabelle wanted to have her own movie. I remember doing the first test screening for the film and just how much people loved her.
Yeah, there's so much character to it, and honestly, an incredible creation. I think it's you know, James's handle is creepy puppet, and I think he's like, that's always been a through line in so many of his films. Annabelle's basically become the mascot character of this franchise. She is
right. She's the face, almost, if you will.
She's
yeah.
the Mickey Mouse of The Conjuring.
The real Annabelle is actually a Raggedy Ann doll. What we had to do on the first film was, obviously, we couldn't get the rights to Raggedy Ann. I don't know, any toy company would say, hey, go ahead. You know, like, go and make a possessed
Huge missed opportunity, though. Huge missed opportunity.
Yeah. So I had to create my own version of Annabelle. And I think it's great because, as Michael pointed out, I enjoy all kinds of creepy puppets, all kinds of creepy dolls, and so it was really fun to design what she would look like, how she would act, and how she would respond within the world. How I came up with the cinematic Annabelle was just literally sitting down and just sketching her and trying lots of different sketches, and then and basically working with my team. And then also Kristen Burke, who was my costume designer, she definitely brought a particular look to Annabelle with her outfit. Her face was one thing, but then the outfit really completed her.
Who are you?
Annabelle Higgins is the estranged daughter of John and Mia Forms, responsible for the demonic possession of the doll Annabelle.
Behind every evil doll, you guessed it, there's a demon. And Annabelle's no different. We got a great, creepy-looking gargoyle-type demon right behind her, puppeteering her, looming in the shadows, ready to strike.
And we'll come back to him later. The Conjuring 2 from 2016, directed by me again, James Wan. The Amityville Horror, DeFeo children. The DeFeo children sadly murdered in the Amityville house on Long Island, New York.
Behind the doors of this seemingly normal house in Ponders End, North London, is a family living in a nightmare.
We felt that the Hodgson family haunting was the perfect sequel to go with because it was the most publicized haunting case, apparently, in the UK. And so we felt like the change of scenery was a great way to take the Warrens out of the US and move them overseas, but still keeping the same structure, the same thing that we loved about the first film, but just give it a different veneer. Bill Wilkins, the deceased former resident of the Hodgson home, who becomes a malevolent entity possessing Janet Hodgson and tormenting her family. The Crooked Man is a secondary antagonist manifesting from a nursery rhyme to torment the family. The Crooked Man is actually also a very beloved character from the second movie.
Another great example, just like great monster design, great creature design.
The Crooked Man initially was supposed to get his own spin-off film. I still get fans coming up to me today asking me for a Crooked Man movie, so there is a lot of love for this character, and who knows, maybe one day we can bring him to life. But the Nun, however, stole his limelight, and that became the path of our spin-off of the second movie. So now we get to Valak, aka the Nun, the demonic nun, a powerful demon who manifests as a nun to torment the Warrens and the Hodgson family. And of course, we're gonna come back to her later.
Annabelle Creation from 2017, directed by our good friend David F. Sandberg. Annabelle Creation opens with a tragic opening where B. Mullins is run over by a car, and that's really the thing that haunts this family, and it's the dark cloud that looms over them.
What do you need?
Your soul.
So Annabelle, she's back, guys. And what this family thinks is that Annabelle is being used as a conduit by their young daughter who's passed away. But in fact, you guessed it, it's something way darker. It's a demon.
The Scarecrow is a secondary conduit for the demon who scares the other orphan girls in the Mullins home.
Next up, The Nun, 2018, directed by the amazing Corin Hardy.
Daniel.
Daniel is a spirit from the past, and it's tied into Father Burke. Father Burke tried to save this young boy from a possession, and like most things in a horror movie, it went horribly wrong. Daniel died, and basically Daniel's back, haunting Father Burke and being used as a conduit by Valak.
Sister Victoria, the last nun in the abbey who committed suicide to save the local village from the evil of Valak.
Ingrid's in the movie, guys. The lovely Mrs. Wan plays a role as one of the nuns in the film.
Sister Juana, played by Ingrid, a deceased nun imagined by Sister Irene.
Put some holy water on this! Here! Hurry! Please, Father, hurry!
Yeah, there are quite a few ghosts within this.
The movie is a big head game. We think there's all these nuns there, and it turns out they're all ghosts. It's full-on Sixth Sense for Sister Irene. Very head trippy. Valak the Nun.
I think my favorite scene from Nun 1 is when Sister Irene drank the blood of Christ, and then she pops out of the pool, and she uses the blood to spit into Valak's face, hence destroying Valak. I'm like, that's a super cool idea.
That totally reminded me of Bordello of Blood, which it is a deep cut, but it was basically a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Chill, baby.
The blood of Christ coming back as this super weapon. I just thought that was so interesting, and I love that reference. And I think The Conjuring does such a good job of paying tribute and just embracing horror movies of the past. It's almost like a kind of horror movie film school in itself.
Annabelle Comes Home from 2019, directed by the amazing Gary Doberman.
I like your doll.
Girl from car accident. A girl killed in a car accident who is drawn to the Annabelle doll in the Warrens' car.
Love the scene in this movie where the car breaks down right next to the cemetery, worst place for your car to break down, and they are tormented by the spirits from the cemetery. Gary did this great job of, I'd never heard the term before, but it's the babysitter horror. And I just thought oh yeah, that's it. That's totally the vibe of the movie. And just like how The Nun kind of goes into this almost like Bram Stoker's Dracula, this old school style horror movie. With this one, Gary kind of took it into the babysitter horror. And obviously that was a great collaboration with James as well.
Father Michael Morrissey, a deceased priest who appears to Judy Warren at her school, is the first of many spirits she is able to see.
Michelle Morrissey was our line producer on that film, and also my line producer on Conjuring 3. Wonderful lady, and that's a little kind of tribute to her. She's alive and well, it should be said. When I say tribute, it almost sounds like something happened to her. She's doing good.
And then there's Daniela's dad, who was killed in a car accident, whom she's trying very hard to try and communicate with.
You did this to me!
That's really the emotional core of the movie, and I think that Gary wrote that movie and really did a really nice job of just capturing that emotion. The Bride. The Bride is actually played by Natalia Safran, wife to Peter Safran, one of the producers. The Bride is just one of these great creepy entities. I love in this movie how the whole artifact room turns against these kids and it comes to life, and you get these kind of great little vignette stories.
The Ferryman and his collected souls.
Next up is It's not a werewolf, guys. It's the Black Shuck. Also known as the Hellhound.
The Samurai.
This movie culminates with a final reveal of the demon behind Annabelle. It tries to suck the spirits of our young babysitters and young Judy Warren. This is a great, terrifying finale to this film. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, from 2021, directed by me, Michael Chaves. My first introduction to the Warrens was actually through the first Conjuring film. I honestly came into it blind. I didn't know they were even real people or existed.
Well, Michael, I'm glad I can introduce you to the world out there.
I need it. I need somebody to open the door of horror. Arnie is tormented by a demon, and we don't know the origins of it. We slowly learn over the course of the movie that it has been summoned from hell by the occultist. The inspiration behind that was Nightmare on Elm Street, great waterbed scary scene. Classic, imprints on a lot of kids of that era. You know what's so crazy is JP, our AD, worked on that film, and he worked on this one. He gave us all the waterbed tricks.
The spirit in the morgue, a dead body brought to life by occultist Isla Kastner in an attempt to stop the Warrens from their investigation. By the way, that's actually one of my favorite sequences in the film.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, just the way it was
very
kind of
nice.
drawn out and the way it's laid out and, you know, with a ticking clock that switches off the lights. It's super cool. What we try to do in these moments, in these scares, is to try and, you know, like a cool gimmick, but without it being too gimmicky, and that could kind of work into the sequence.
I thought the big opportunity there was, you know, they're going up against a witch who's just actively out there summoning evil, and just like the idea that she could just puppeteer a corpse and turn it against the Warrens. I just thought that was a lot of fun.
Super cool.
Lorraine. You need to come back.
You know, especially being in a morgue, obviously you're going to be unsettled just because of all the dead bodies. I'm like, we got to do something with that. We got to turn one of those guys alive. The Nun 2, 2023, directed by me, Michael Chaves.
Cedric, the altar boy, killed in the chapel during World War II. Madame Laurent, the headmistress of a school in France, who is ultimately killed by Valak when she is lured into a chapel with visions of her deceased son.
What'd she do? It's Madame Laurent. She's standing in her room.
The demon goat. In this school, there's this old stained glass window with a goat in it. And the kids have this game that centers around it. And that kind of always haunts the kids. And sure enough, it comes to life to chase them down in the finale of this movie.
What the hell?
Valak the Nun. Basically, she's back. She's going after this ancient relic. Irene has chased her across all of Europe. We shot this in France. It was awesome. There was so much great history in the locations and just texture in the locations that was, you know, did so much of the work for you. You know, taking the universe into the 50s, into this kind of old school horror movie vibe. I thought it really paired well with Valak. There's something just kind of classic vampire about her, almost like Nosferatu, and this was before Nosferatu came out, so we were ahead of our time.
And for me, what's really interesting is starting out with Valak, but then seeing filmmakers like yourself taking her and basically continuing her journey. So that's really fun for me to see what you guys do as filmmakers and how you guys basically expand upon this character. I feel like we don't get enough medieval horror movies out there, and I think it's a really fun and scary world to play in, and I think Valak just fits that perfectly, and so I would love to see her be in another medieval horror.
Yeah, I love Valak. I think there's still lots of unanswered questions, like, what's her first name? Is that a first name? Is it a last name? Nobody knows. The Conjuring Last Rites. It's coming out now. It's directed by me. The total spirit count is... You'll have to go and see it.
There's an evil here. Something I've felt before.
The greatest thing about this series is we really love the Warrens and we love their family and we care deeply about them. And I think that any fan going into this movie is wondering what's going to happen to them. Like, how does it end? And this is their ending. It's something I'm very excited for people to discover.
I've known about the Warrens since I was a teenager, I think. The movie that introduced me to them, ironically enough, is the movie The Haunted that featured the Smurl haunting. So it's very interesting that, we're here talking about The Last Rites, which is about the Smurl haunting. And so for me personally, it's me coming full circle with the Warrens.
And after all these years, it wasn't done with our family.
Judy has played a part in the series from the very beginning. It's their young daughter, and now we're seeing her as an adult. And I think what was so awesome about that is we get to see this character that we have been familiar with through the whole series, but we get to see how she grew up and what is the result of growing up in the Warrens' house, growing up within our artifact room, and really under the dark cloud of all of the supernatural, all these demons. What does that do to someone? And we get to see her as an adult as she's coming to grips with it.
I kind of refer to this movie as the father of the bride, the horror father of the bride.
If you like Father of the Bride, you're gonna love this movie. All right, guys, thanks so much for coming along for this ride. I hope you had as much fun as we did.
We'll be scaring you guys in theaters soon with this next one. So please come and see it on the big screen. It's amazing, and you're gonna have a great time. Thank you so much.